needs to be taken to scale. So the other thing that President Kennedy did was he was the first to speak about civil rights. And he said, who amongst us would trade the color of their skin and be content with those who counsel patience and delay? And it's so fundamental. Just treat others as you yourself would want to be treated. But he captured it so beautifully, again, in the moral imperative of civil rights. Many people at the time were saying, wait, President Kennedy, if you do that, you're going to lose the South. You've got a big election coming up. And of course, we did lose the South. And, we're still fighting these issues today. But he got us started, and he laid down the moral marker. Who amongst us would trade places and then be content with those who counsel patience and delay? Today, we're in the same spot. We've had all of these horrific tragedies, and they happen every day. You look at the obit paper, section of the paper, every single day says, died unexpectedly, died suddenly. Those are all, we know who those people are. They're dying of our illness, and their shame is so great they don't even say died of depression, suicide, died of overdose. Very rarely do you get those opens. So every single day, and yet, we want to say, well, we'll deal with that later on. That's the kind of feeling right now. Mental health will kick that can down the road. Congress hasn't done a thing on all these tragedies. And so it's shocking that even in this day and age, we're still flat-footed on this subject of how we're going to move forward and do the things that we know work to get people help. And what they include is, just like every other illness, prevention. I mean, you don't wait till someone has stage 4 cancer before you treat their cancer. You don't wait till someone has to have their legs amputated or go blind from diabetes before you treat them. But with addictions, you wait until it becomes pathological before you step in and treat them.
Wow.
That's not the way you would treat any other physical illness. And yet that is accepted standard of care for people with brain illnesses. You've got to wait until their illness pathologizes, to the point where it's very hard to bring them back. And then you say, okay, now we'll treat you. You wouldn't tolerate that if it were any other physical illness, but we tolerate it regularly when it comes to mental illness and addiction. That, my friends, is our challenge. If we use the parity, either what I mean by that is equality, if we use the discrimination argument, we don't have to argue why mental health ought to be treated like every people like, yeah, we're very sympathetic with those people. Like, not at all. But if we talk about it as no one wants to be against equality. It's the brain, by the way. Okay? It's an organ in the body. Doesn't always work right. We need to treat it like we would any other chemical imbalance in any other organ in the body. Then we have a chance to move the needle on getting our healthcare system, getting insurance companies to start paying for what we know can make a big difference in reducing not only the mortality, but the morbidity of these illnesses. And you all know gambling, it's gambling, it's everything. It's post-traumatic stress, it's, they still have mental illness segregated from, substance use disorders, like, hello, I mean, that's where we are. We need to treat the whole person. And many people end up with gambling addictions, have other addictions, and then underlying mental illnesses and depressions and anxieties. It's all interwoven. So we need to treat these things holistically. We need to treat the people, and we need to intervene earlier. I'll close with this. So I'm putting the ping pong table together for my nephews about 2 months ago in my garage, and of course the ping pong table starts to collapse because I haven't set it up just right. And my natural reaction is to go grab it to keep it from falling. The top of my finger nearly comes right off. So I'm like, I gotta go to the hospital. I go to the ER. They do the intake. They said, "Are you allergic to anything?" And I said, "Yeah, penicillin and opiates." Well, this nurse Never heard that in her life. She said, that's what people come in here for, in the ER. They come in for it. What do you say, you know? You want it? I said, yeah, I'm allergic to them. Okay. So then the doctor comes in, they stitch me up, they do Novocaine. And when they're releasing me, he sends in a bag, jar of Percocets and a script. Yeah. After I told him that I'm in recovery. And that's not the first thing. I go to I left Commerce, I'm moving to Atlantic City, I go to my new doctor, I go to do a workup. Patrick, give you your background. I said, I'm a recovering addict, been diagnosed with bipolar, I'm an asthmatic, I take Lipitor for cholesterol, and Nexium for an upset stomach. Is that good enough? He said, yeah, he goes on his computer, and he says, oh, let me see here. And he's got 20 prompts, questions, on my asthma. Does it keep me up at night? Am I using my long-acting inhaler? Does the fast-acting, how many times a day? I'm like, at this point, can't believe he's not asked one question about the illness that I said is my number one challenge. That's going to kill me before any of these others. I'll die of this before I die of a stroke because of cholesterol that I'm taking Lipitor. But no, the medical system sees fit to save me from a stroke in my 70s, but it doesn't see fit to treat me from an illness that could kill me tomorrow. I mean, you see how outrageous the system is? So I'm leaving the doctor's office and say, Doc, you saw that scar in the middle of my back. I sometimes have this terrible pain. It was a 14-hour operation. Sometimes it gets really bad. Do you think he could just tie me over with a script for Oxycontin? 20 milligram tablets would be fine. 80 of them would be good. And he broke out his prescription pad. My doctor broke out his prescription pad. Started writing it down. And he said, yeah, that scar looks bad. I said, yeah, that scar's bad. I need some help. And then, of course, I said, anyway, he stopped me. He said, wait a second, did you tell me you were in recovery? I said, yeah. So I made the point. Now he's asking me, when I go back, he asks me about, how's your mood disorder? How's recovery? But he's not trained. No one's trained. The medical system is out to lunch on this. And the savior of our whole healthcare system is going to be employing the behavioral health system, which is coordinated care and wraparound services, and moving that into the medical system, not letting the medical system, which is kind of fee-for-service, one transaction, migrate over to mental health. That's going to be our challenge as a community. We have to define how we want this system to play out. And I think if we get like the IBMs of the world to show all the data and measure all the outcomes, they'll say that mental health is the secret sauce that's going to save our healthcare system hundreds of billions of dollars a year. Because we spend it all in the comorbidities after we don't treat the underlying behavioral health issues because we don't acknowledge them as real physical health issues. That, my friends, is our challenge. Thank you very much.